because this finals is crazy. We had Iron Mike Sharp take on the Brooklyn Brawler in a match that could have been a final, but it just didn't happen that way. But it was the Brooklyn Brawler victorious. And then it was Drew McIntyre taking on the only world champion in the Jobbers Tournament, the Great Khali. And Nick felt, there's no way a guy who is world champion should win a Jobbers Tournament. But the Great Khali was victorious. And they'll move on to face each other. The Brooklyn Brawler versus the Great Khali.
Why does Nick feel that a world champion should not win a Jobbers Tournament?
Because I guess
we're crowning a champion.
If you're a jobber, you're not a champion. You're not a.
Well, he was champion,
and then he became a jobber.
Then he became a jobber. You know, so we're not living in the past.
I didn't like to have to put Leaping Lanny Poffo in this tournament because Leaping Lanny Poffo early in his career was a great cruiserweight style wrestler. Then he got to WWE. He was Leaping Lanny. He was good. Then he got into the Genius gimmick, and then he was pretty much a jobber. He lost like 5 times a year to Hogan and Beefcake and all those other meatheads. And he became a jobber as well. So I didn't like putting him in this. I mean,
how could you expect a world champion lose to Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
If you go back, to round 1, where, let's say, we had, gotta find the Great Khali first, right? You figure?
He's there.
There he is. The Great Khali took on Buck Zumhoff in round number 1, okay? Yeah, exactly. I just saw the look on your face. Who? Yeah, exactly. So the Great Khali is not losing it to Buck Zumhoff, and he sure as hell is not going to lose to David Isley in the second round. So you can forget about that. Then you had one of the most popular jobbers of all time, Salvatore Bellomo, but the guy never won. So again, a world champion is not going to lose to Salvatore Bellomo. His greatest competition, I felt, was Bryan Adams, a.k.a. Crush.
Yes.
But he's a Great Khali. He's 7'4", 400 pounds, a muscular physique of a giant. So Bryan Adams was 6'10", 280, 290, and not so much of a good wrestler. So, boom, he moves on. He kicks on Drew McIntyre. Can't see Drew McIntyre taking out the Great Khali. As good as Drew McIntyre is and was, just don't see him taking out the Great Khali. The only guy I can see taking out the Great Khali in this entire tournament would have been Crush or another really big man. But if you go back in the tournament, there is really not that many big guys. A lot of muscular guys like, Jim Powers or Titus O'Neil, guys like that. But you really didn't have anybody, like Sin Cara was not going to be taking out, Brutus Beefcake wasn't going to be taking him out.
Barry Horowitz?
That's where we are. Will Barry Horowitz? No, Barry Horowitz didn't get a chance to. So
no,
but now it's the Brooklyn Brawler. Will the Brooklyn Brawler, the 45th man of this tournament, take out the 63rd man in this tournament of a 64-man tournament? Will the Brooklyn Brawler or the Great Khali be victorious?
Judging by the huge height difference, I hate to go against Brooklyn, but I gotta go Great Khali because I want to be right.
I want to be right.
I want to be right.
I said Great Khali a couple rounds ago. Once he got past Crush, I was like, it's got to be a Great Khali.
This is my first opportunity to speak on it. So I'll speak Great Khali.
Nick was kind of off on a bunch of guys because instead of him, he was picking guys that he felt like were better wrestlers. So he's like, this guy's a better wrestler, so I'm going to take him. Not so much that the fact that they were a jobber. So, we had the Red Rooster versus Mario Mancini. So he was like, well, Mario Mancini's the bigger jobber. Red Rooster was the bigger, actually knew how to wrestle, but he didn't understand that. It wasn't that Terry Taylor is on this list. It's the Red Rooster. That's right. Like, yes, Terry Taylor was a great wrestler, but once he was tagged with Red Rooster, he became a jobber.
Right.
So that's
hence the name Red Rooster.
Yeah. So Red Rooster, who was lucky enough to knock off Drew McIntyre, got knocked off by Drew McIntyre. So that's where it stopped. So he's like,
He made the final 8.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it stopped. It was like, all right, boom, he hit a peak, and Drew McIntyre is the better of the two jobbers. Brooklyn Brawler beat Landy Poffo, and Mike Sharp beat Santino Marella. So now we're in the finals. Brooklyn Brawler versus the Great Khali. And then after this tournament's over, we have the most ridiculous.
You've come up with another.
Yeah, that's right. You have
unbelievable.
The Damage 365 greatest all-time tag teams, not tag team champions, not world tag team champs. The greatest all-time tag teams.
2-man
in history.
2-man tag teams.
It could be 3-man. Doesn't matter because you could use the Freebird rules.
Can it be 4-man?
No, because that would become a faction, and that would be a stable. We already did that.
Correct, stable.
Look how many participants we have.
Wow.
200 tag teams are in this tournament.
And we've never reached that many.
Reaching from ECW, WCW, WWE, NWA, the territory days. You might see multiple guys on this list with multiple different partners. Just made that sound like a gay porn.
Yes.
But it's okay. You have Demolition, Axe, and Smash, but later on you'll have a Demolition, Axe, and Crush. Techno Team 2000. You'll also have the Road Warriors 2.0. Remember that whole disaster they tried to do? The Dingo Warrior and Sting. Remember that?
Wow.
Yeah. King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd. The Four Horsemen.
What are you doing there? It's 4 people.
All because they're already separated.
So you can take 2 of the 4?
We have Ric Flair and Arn Anderson in a separate bracket, and we have Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson as the what were the Brainbusters when we were in the WWE. So this is the WCW version,
which would be
probably would either be. It depends. It could be anybody. It could be Ole Anderson and Arn Anderson. It could be whatever. Who knows? It could be Luger when they put him in. I mean, it could be any one of them. Any one of them. Whoever it is, they're gonna. Right now, they're slotted to take on the Spirit Squad. So you know that. They're gonna win that one. But you have the Machines. There was 4 members of the Machine.
I got the 4 Horsemen going deep in the tournament.
Now you have the Wyatt family. Let's see. The Mexi Cools, Sin Cara and Mysterio, D-Generation X. You look at something. New Day.
No.
Sucks.
I hope you have the Rock and Sock connection on here.
Of course we have the Rock and Sock connection here. We got Sabu and the Tasmaniac.
Wow. The
Mamalukes taking on Billy and Chuck.
You got the Head Shrinkers?
We have the Head Shrinkers. We have 3-minute warning. Kane and X-Pac. We have Team Hell No.
We have the Brothers of Destruction.
We have the Brothers of Destruction. We have Spike Dudley and Balls Mahoney.
Wow.
The Beverly Brothers. 2 Cold Scorpio and the Sandman. Harlem Heat 2000. The Johnsons. Adrian Adonis and Jesse the Body Ventura. DDP and Canyon.
Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
I pity the fool.
We have the Mega Powers in here. The Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman.
You got the Smoking Guns.
Yep. We have DDP and Karl Malone.
Wow.
That's right. The Basham Brothers. Beer Money Inc. Team Bestie. The New Age Outlaws when they were new and not old. The Beautiful People. Miz and Mizdow.
Wow.
And John Cena and every partner he's ever had.
Oh, he wins. He's gonna win.
But they all suck, so it don't matter.
It's John Cena.
Rated RKO. That was Orton and Edge. The Suicide Blondes. Barry Windham and Stone Cold Steve Austin before he was Stone Cold Steve Austin. We the People. Remember them?
Yes, We the People.
Lanny and Angelo Poffo. The Natural Born Thrillers. Balls Mahoney and Masato Taz. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Wow. I got them losing.
The Dicks. That was a terrible tag team. Guys came out in basically just suspenders and stripper pants.
Dick the Bruiser.
Yep, I'm sure this goes back old, bro. How about Randy Savage and Zeus?
Before my time.
That was from the movie No Holds Barred. They had a match. They had a good year.
They did.
Against Hogan and Beefcake.
That's
Who
right.
are also on here, Hogan and Beefcake. The Primetime Players, the Headbangers. The Bushwhackers, his Hell No. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
Ooh, Lucha Dragons. I like those guys.
Lucha Dragons are in there. Maven and Simon Dean, the Foreign Legion. That's Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik.
Yeah. I don't.
Jay and Jules Strongbow.
Wow.
The Masters of the Universe. You know, that was like Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. The Canadian guy and Dean Malenko.
Well, dude, really got me wanting the Canadian guy to actually advance.
The Hart Foundation. We also have the New Hart Foundation. Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner. The West Hollywood Blondes. Too Cool. Just saw Rikishi yesterday. The Revolution. NWO. Triple H in China.
Wow.
Yeah, we got them all, bro. We got them all.
Wow.
So, the Dudley Boys. American Dream. The Von Erichs. Sabu and Rob Van Dam. Road Warriors.
If we tell them all, we're going to be here till tomorrow.
I mean, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, the longest reigning ever tag team champions of all time.
Los Guerreros.
Yep, Los Guerreros, the Twin Towers, the Brainbusters. It's Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Ricky Steamboat and George the Animal Steel. There's your Rock and Sock connection.
There they are.
The Usos,
Uso.
the Headhunters, the Ascension, Moondogs, Legion of Doom 2.0. Hogan and Beefcake, Edge and Christian. There you had the Russian superpowers, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov. Tons of Funk. Strike Force, Rosie and Hurricane. The Jerry Show, that was Jericho and Big Show. Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito. And Raven and Steven Richards. So, I mean, this is so many of them. We just...
Who you got?
The original Wild Samoans.
Who you got? Pick now.
Pick now. I think I already picked...
Who'd you pick?
I think I picked the Hart Foundation.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. The Rockers.
You know who I have?
Here you go. Coco Beware and the Red Rooster.
They're going to take on...
They will take on the winner of these two. This is Cactus Jack and Mikey Shipwreck from ECW, and then the Body Donnas. There's also the Conquistadors. Let's see. The Quebecers. Remember the Quebecers?
I remember the Quebecers.
The Quebecers.
I got John Cena at his partner winning.
John Cena and any partner you ever had?
And any partner he ever had. Because he wins.
Nope. No, I don't see that.
I see that.
Hillbilly Jim and Uncle Elmer.
Huh. Yeah.
The fabulous Rougeau brothers. Who will also were the Quebecers.
Yes.
First they were the Mounties, then they were the Quebecers. The Shield.
The Shield looks to be tough.
There you go.
The Shield could definitely make it to the finals.
Yep.
But they might have trouble if they run into Demolition along the way.
How about this team blast from the past? Dr. Death Steve Williams and Ted DiBiase. That's the song.
When do they form that tag team?
That was in the 70s.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s.
There you go. Say blast from the past. Chris Candido and Lance Storm.
Oh, I liked Lance Storm.
You also have British Bulldog and Owen Hart, the New Hart Foundation. So they're all here. NWO Wolfpack. Suppose you didn't want to take them.
No, I didn't, because John Cena would somehow just find a way to win.
They would beat Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, because they're also in here as the Outsiders.
I don't want to say yes, but yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Soul Patrol. Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson.
Wow.
Nasty Boys.
Knobs and Sags.
APA.
Ooh.
Yeah, Hardy Boys.
Look, I know it's tough. There's 200 tag
The
teams.
Young Stallions. The Steiner brothers.
I
The
know.
original British
I know.
Bulldogs.
There's 200 tag
Luger and
teams.
Sting.
You're going to look at them and you're going to say, oh, they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win.
Mega Powers. Harlem Heat. I mean, you can be here all day. Demolition's Axe and Crush. So the colossal connection, Haku and